When Wizards of the Coast first came up with the concept of the Gatewatch, they had an underlying secret agenda of bringing Magic the Gathering to the big screen. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. Today, we are here to talk about magical movies, specifically Magic the Gathering movies. Now, first of all, did you know, First of all, did you know that Magic was originally supposed to be given a shot at being a full-length feature film? Can you imagine that? The rich depth of Magic the Gathering portrayed on the screen? Well, it was supposed to happen. Magic the Gathering was in the running with a bunch of Hasbro's other intellectual properties to be developed into a movie. Basically, Hasbro had a short list of games that they owned that they were looking at promoting through making a movie for them. Now, what's really funny to me is what beat Magic the Gathering is the last thing. If you had looked at the initial list of what they were choosing from, it's the last thing you would have thought of. They have Magic the Gathering on there. They have games like Monopoly, Battleship, and you know what ends up becoming a movie? Battleship, which is just amazing. That Battleship movie was dreadful. First of all, I didn't even know how they were going to try and turn Battleship into a movie, but they just added crazy nonsense like aliens from outer space land in the water. It's like, what does that have to do with Battleship? Battleship is a little, you've got your little plastic boats before, oh no, you sunk my battleship style game, right? I mean, I remember playing it as a kid. I haven't played it since because in all honesty, Battleship sucks. It sucks as a game and it sucks as a movie. So it managed to beat Magic the Gathering. How do you do that? Magic the Gathering is a fantasy game, right? I mean, think Lord of the Rings, think Game of Thrones. Magic the Gathering has a massive amount of depth to it. In fact, Magic the Gathering has more to offer up than things like Lord of the Rings. It's deeper and richer in terms of the amount of characters they have to draw on, all the lore. How did they manage to fail so miserably in getting Hasbro to go, no, we're not, sure, yeah, you've got all that stuff. We're not touching it. We're going to try and develop Battleship. Well, what happened was Wizards of the Coast owns multiple properties. They don't just own Magic the Gathering. They got so big at the beginning, they were able to buy up TSR, the company that makes Dungeons and Dragons. So as a result, they own Dungeons and Dragons. Now, some of you already know where I'm going with this, because when you think of Dungeons and Dragons and movies, you kind of go, oh, I can feel my shoulders rising up. I'm kind of hunching down. The Dungeons and Dragons movies had so much potential, and they were absolutely botched. First, through bad casting, things like putting the Wayans brothers in, it was just terrible that way. And you have people like Jeremy Irons, who is a really well-known and respected actor, who knows that the movie is just, yeah, like his acting in the movie, you can tell he knew that these things were going to be a flop. So they were allowed to make multiple Dungeons and Dragons movies, and they failed. Okay, now Magic the Gathering has a lot of rich, interesting fantasy to draw on, but Dungeons and Dragons has more. It's better, honestly. Dungeons and Dragons is better in terms of lore and story, and like it's been around longer too, so there's more to draw on even than Magic the Gathering had to draw on. And they failed abysmally to make good movies using Dungeons and Dragons. So that is actually what sunk the concept of a Magic video back in the day. So Wizards of the Coast decided to bide their time and try and revitalize the concept. What they wanted to do was take Planeswalkers from being an interesting card concept that they had brought in Lorwyn and transform them into flagship brand items. And when I say flagship, it's something that I mean, it's like iconic and recognizable. Think like Wolverine from the X-Men. These characters that you absolutely just love. These characters that you would absolutely adore to see in a movie. Think like Link from A Legend of Zelda, right? Wouldn't you love to see him in a movie? If you're a Zelda fan, wouldn't you love to see Zelda come to the big screen? In all honesty, I'm surprised that we haven't really seen that yet. Anyhow, Wizards of the Coast is looking to have that level of iconic characters with the Gatewatch. That is part of the reason they started shoving the Gatewatch down our throats over and over and over. There's a certain point right around the time of the Gatewatch where Magic the Gathering decided that the flagship cards for sets and things like that also needed to be expanded in purpose. If you want to know what I mean by flagship cards, look at Iconic Masters and Mana Drain. That's the biggest card you think of. That's the card that's there to push the set being sold. Flagship cards are the biggest, most impressive cards that will make people want to keep cracking packs. So if you think of the current, like for current example, if you look at the Ravnica sets, flagship cards for those would be pretty obvious. The Shocklands, right? Everybody's happy to crack Shocklands. Obviously, you've got some Planeswalkers as well, but the Shocklands take stage front and center because they're well known, they are very desirable, and people want them. Now, the Shocklands don't really fit into the overall concept that I'm talking about, and it may be that Wizards kind of eased back on the entire concept because they realized that this flagship pushing of Planeswalkers was detrimental to the game. But around the time of the Gatewatch, you could see that story characters were being pushed in power level. And it wasn't just Planeswalkers. Look at the newest version of Emrakul that they had to ban. They pushed the power too hard. They're trying to take these storied characters and make them so powerful that they're in the forefront of the meta. The problem with this is it becomes very boring. It becomes boring to know that with every set, you're going to see some of these Gatewatch Planeswalkers, not only in the set, but they're pretty much guaranteed to enter Standard because Wizards of the Coast is pushing the power on level on them to the point where they're going to. They just warp Standard. Planeswalkers are already really powerful in that they're very utilitarian. You can basically get a number of different uses out of a Planeswalker, right? It's a card that keeps on giving. It's a card that, hey, are you not doing that well in a game? Drawing your Planeswalker will help. Hey, are you winning a game? Planeswalkers will help lock that down. It's always good times to see a Planeswalker card. So they push this concept where they want these characters right to the forefront because they want you to love them. They want you to associate the game. Like, think about Jace. Jace is everywhere. He's even down, look, right down here on this poster. You can't escape him. They've got him tucked in here anyways. They realized by this point they needed to dial, when it came to Ixalan, they realized they needed to dial it back because people were getting tired of this. This is one of the dangers as well. They're trying to build this brand up, build these characters, so they have a cast of characters. It's funny, I mentioned that they're like trying to make their own Avengers, and it just dawned on me how right I was. They were trying to create their own Avenger group to the point where they wanted to be able to make movies off of this and launch these properties. You can see how much these Planeswalkers are flagship faces of the game when you look at things like Jace's signature spellbook. There's no way they could sell you Jace's signature spellbook and have it feel like it's something that mattered if they didn't shove Jace into everything. Think about how many iterations that we've had of this. So this was all a push underneath to create a very cohesive brand created around specific recurring characters. So they go, we're following him here, we're following him here. Follow Jason the Gatewatch to this plane. Follow Jason the Gatewatch to this plane. Follow Jace and the Gatewatch to this plane. Follow Jace and the Gatewatch to the big screen. So they were actually looking to push this out. I don't think that they're actually going to manage it, in all honesty, especially with the way that the Gatewatch has fallen apart in terms of there's not that level of interest. A lot of people are kind of like, can we ease off? War of the Sparks will give us a little more of a window into how they view the Gatewatch in terms of if all of the Gatewatch walks out of this unscathed, if they end up destroying a bunch of Planeswalkers, but they keep the Gatewatch alive, you can see that they haven't given up this hope. I don't know if Wizards of the Coast has realized just how bad it is to keep reusing the same characters until people are bored of them. Because then instead of being a draw, it makes people pan the game overall. When you have a situation where, oh, look at, these are our main characters and these are who we be following the stories and struggles of, and you just go, I'm tired of these guys. Then it kind of extrapolates overall to I'm tired of Magic. So it seems like they've already passed the point where they were trying to build up to being able to create these characters, push them into a movie. But at this point, I believe they've already kind of sullied and ruined that plan. Now, do I think they've given up on trying to make a Magic movie? No. No, I don't. I mean, World of Warcraft got a movie, Battleship got a movie. I think that it is still an underlying desire of Magic the Gathering to have a movie, but I think that they've already pushed this Gatewatch concept too far, and they're going to have to find a new angle of attack for this. Personally, I would love to see a Magic the Gathering movie, although I really don't see exactly how they would manage to pull it off. So that remains to be seen. But either way, it definitely appears to me that Wizards of the Coast has a secret underlying plan to make a movie using flagship characters, but they haven't got the recipe right to get characters that we would actually be excited to see. If they made a Gatewatch movie, I'd be incredibly bored. And if you think about it, the Gatewatch has only been around since 2016. So that's a pretty big failure to basically burn people out on them that quickly. But that's the way it goes, my friends. Now, we don't have any new 6 Color of Magic videos, so until I get new ones, I won't be inserting those. What I will show you instead is a clip from a hilarious Down the Hatch video. Have you ever heard of carrot cake Oreos? Well, here's my reaction to them. No, it's... Oh no! If you want to see that, you need to check out my Down the Hatch channel. There'll be a link right here at the end of the video, right after we roll the golden scroll. The people who have my back on Patreon or through channel memberships. We have a new member to welcome, but he wishes to remain anonymous, and he wants to be addressed only as Mr. Pickle. So Mr. Pickle, welcome aboard. You will see your name at the end of the scroll. Thanks for supporting my channel. And to all of you, I say thanks for being here, and I shall see you tomorrow.